Okay, in number 8, we need to sketch the angle of 7 pi over 6 radians. So what I would do to find where 7 pi over 6 radians is I would convert it to degrees. So 7 pi over 6 radians, we want to convert that to degrees, so we need radians to cancel, so we need to put the radians in the denominator so we can cancel out the units. And since there's 180 degrees in pi radians, we can put that on top. The pi's cancel, so really all you do is 7 times 180 divided by 6. So 7 times 180 divided by 6 is 210. So this is a 210 degree angle. So we need to sketch this. So we'll start with our initial ray here, our initial side, and we will go to 210. Well, if we go up to here, it's 90, 180, 270. So it's somewhere between 180 and 270. Well, how much past 180 is 210? That's 30 degrees. So we go past 180 degrees by 30 degrees, and there's our angle of 210 degrees. Now we need to get the coordinates, so we will sketch our right triangle here. We need to get our x value and our y value to get these coordinates. It's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So we did this earlier today. In a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, if our hypotenuse is 1, across from the 30 is 1/2, and across from 60 is radical 3 over 2. So our value across from 30 will be 1/2, and our value across from 60 will be radical 3 over 2. So our x value is going in the negative direction, negative radical 3 over 2, and it's going down, so that's also a negative 1/2. So our exact coordinate is negative radical 3 over 2, comma negative 1/2. In number 9, we have to identify the amplitude, period, and number of cycles in the interval from 0 to 2 pi for each function. So our amplitude is just the number, the absolute value of the number in front of the function. So 7 is the absolute value of negative 7. That's your amplitude. Your period equation is 2 pi over b, and you need to know this. Make sure you memorize that. So we'll do 2 pi divided by b, which is the number in front of theta, which is 2. The 2's cancel, so we're left with pi. So the period of this function is pi, and the number of cycles is really just the number b in our equation, so that's 2. Over here, the amplitude is 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. Our period is again 2 pi over b. 2 pi divided by pi over 4. When you have a fraction divided by a fraction, you need to multiply by the reciprocal. So that's 2 pi times 4 over pi. And then the pi's end up canceling out. 2 times 4 is 8. So this is 8. And the cycles between 0 and 2 pi is pi over 4. Okay, number 10. We need to calculate the period and the amplitude of the function. Well, the amplitude is the difference between half the distance, amplitude is 1/2 the distance between so distance is absolute value, your max minus your min. So your max point in this graph is 7. So 7 minus your minimum. Your minimum here is negative 3. So we have half of 10, since 7 minus negative 3 is 10. That is 5. So our amplitude is 5. And the period is how long it takes to finish one cycle. So if we start here at 0, it starts at 2, We have to go all the way until it gets back to that point, and that is right here. That is one cycle of the graph from here to here. How long does that take? It takes a value of 8, so our period is 8. Okay, going on to number 11. Write the equation of the graph for the sine function. Well, they tell you it's a sine function, so that takes half the problem away. Okay, so anyway, we need to get our amplitude. Our amplitude goes up to 3 and down to -3, so that's a distance of 6. Half of 6 is 3, so our amplitude is 3, and we need to know what b is. B is equal to 2 pi divided by the period. So we can look and find our period by seeing how long it takes for one full cycle to occur. Well, for one full cycle, it takes a length of 2 pi. So our period is 2 pi, so b is going to be 1. Now this is a positive sine graph because it starts at 0 and starts going in the upward direction. So this is going to be y equals positive 3 sine of 1 theta. Or you could just have 3 sine of theta. Okay, and number 12, which is the equation of the function graph below? Well, let's eliminate some things. First of all, we know it's a cosine graph, so if there's any sines, we can cancel. There aren't any, so we also know it starts up, so it's a positive cosine, and these are all positive cosines, so we can't eliminate anything there. So now we need to find our amplitude. Our amplitude goes up to 2, where our highest point is 2 and our lowest point is -2. So if that's the case, our amplitude is 2. So we can cross this one out because it does not have an amplitude of 2. So now let's figure out what b is. B is 2 pi over the period. So to find out what the period is, we need to trace this graph. Our period ends at 4 pi. So our b is going to end up being 1/2 after you reduce 2/4. So 2 is the amplitude and 1/2 is the value for b. So this is your answer, letter B.